Hey guys, and welcome back to Building Habits. In case you're new here, this is a series where I introduce a set of rules you should try and follow in every game you play. The goal is to teach you strong fundamental principles that we will improve upon as we go. This series is my personal take on how to improve in chess, starting from 400 ELO all the way up to 2000 ELO and beyond. I'm going to choose a series of rules that I have to follow. What you might notice is that you will miss chances to play winning moves. That's okay. The goal here is to focus on the fundamentals, and I'm trying to get you guys to build good habits and play high percentage moves that will help you increase your rating. Okay, we got an 800. Let's start with our E4. Knight F3. Again, these are pretty much the first two moves of almost every game I play, except if my opponent plays like D5 attacking my pawn, like Scandinavian on move 1. So usually like this, bring the other knight out. Yeah, and again, this is what 90+% of my positions look like in this series. Okay, he's getting the bishop out. We're going to copy. Again, it's all about getting these pieces out and, playing D3. If I can play D4, I've talked about how I do want to start doing that now that we're on level 2, so to speak. But D3 is just as good, and we will get castled. At what point should you resign? Probably the next level. You can consider resigning. I think for level 1 and level 2, you definitely want to always keep playing. The thing about not resigning at a lower level is it'll teach you about some things that even if they happen to you, it's a teachable moment. So, for example, if you don't resign and your opponent checkmates you with a queen and a rook, you might look to pay attention to how he checkmated you. It's a ladder technique, and you might be like, okay, let me just pay attention to that. That's going to be a technique that you can use when you have the queen and the rook. When you maybe get stalemated by your opponent, let's go D3. When you get stalemated by your opponent, you'll be like, oh, I just learned what stalemate is. And you might not have learned those things if you didn't play on, if you resigned earlier. So there's a lot of things at the end of the game that lower rated players won't even get a chance to learn about or see at all if they resign early. Italian's a good opening. I mean, Magnus Carlsen plays the Italian, so I think you can play this opening at any level or every level. You shouldn't play gambits. Well, it's up to you to interpret it. What I'm saying is that you're going to have an easy time following these rules. If you want to play a gambit, go for it. I think that you don't need to play gambits to improve at a lower ELO. So we can't bring our bishop there, so we're going to bring our bishop to E3. Let's continue to go like this. This is a lot more like habits from level 1, basically. So you can play gambits if you want to, but I think the pre-move of recapture, that's something we unlocked. I think they're not necessary, and I think gambits get into trickier positions, and you're not going to learn a lot of fundamentals with gambits. But we'll get into those probably at the next level. Gambits can be good to teach you initiative and valuing the center. Gambits often pull a pawn away from the center, and then you take the center as a result. It gives you a lot of control. So it teaches you a lot of valuable things, but I don't think when you're starting out in chess, it's the best way to approach it, personally. Okay, I said generally if we can play D4, that's what we want to do. We have to start at this level 2, different from level 1. In level 1, we would have played queen here, rook over to one of those two squares, H3, right? That would be our finishing development for level 1 habits. Level 2, we want to be a little bit more aggressive. We want to push the action a little bit more. We want to take the center because it gives us more space. You see my pawn compared to his pawn, I have a lot more space than him. Okay, C6. Again, rook to the middle is sort of how we finish development. A really good move here would be e5. It would be a very good move in my opinion. But we're going to focus on the habits, just pieces to the middle. We don't have to get fancy with this move because there's going to be a time when this move is not that good. There's going to be a time when e5 is good and a time when it's not that good. And for a low elo player to be able to identify that exact moment when it's good to play and when it's not, that's very tough in my opinion. Very tough. So I think it's easier to just, complete all of our development first, and then we can look to go for stuff like that. So the point of this series is not to win every single game. I definitely lose lots of games. It's not to gain a whole bunch of ratings super fast. Let's get our h3 move in. Our escape square, super important. The goal is to maybe miss some strong moves. And in exchange, we're going to play pretty solid moves overall that hopefully will benefit us in the long run. Okay, we've moved pretty much every piece. We got our h3 in. It's time for our random pawn move. Cheers, what are you doing? I'm saying h3 is the key, man. h3 is the key. Okay, takes. We have to take this back. It could be either piece. Probably whichever piece I take with, I would also want to bring back to the square I just moved from. If the knight takes, I wouldn't mind going back, controlling the center again. So I'm going to choose to take with the bishop, and I'll probably bring this bishop back. Okay, here, let's do another random pawn move, and I will probably bring this bishop back at some point. This e5 move is always in the position. Let's bring the bishop back. But yeah, this e5 move, I think it's time to push it. The random pawns, I've been pushing pawn, pawn, pawn. Now it's time to probably push e5. Yeah. So this move has been very strong for a long period of time, and it should have been played. So the analysis is going to probably reflect that not playing this move has been me missing some opportunities. But if this was a game and you didn't play e5, I think it would be fine. White's been playing solid moves in the meantime. It's not like they've been blundering. So solid moves. That's what we're going to try to stick with. Okay, trades. We want to do trades. And hey, that's a pawn in the center. We're going to take it. We're going to take it. Oh my goodness. He doesn't miss a habit stream. Potent Ponables. He does not miss a habit stream. That's a 50 gifted sub bomb. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's keep pushing the pawns. Potent, how are you, man? Wow. I was like, he never misses a stream. And then he came in chat to say that he's got to miss the stream. But he was here for it. It still counts. You still made an appearance, Potent Ponables. Like when you go to school and you plan on skipping class, but you stay at the beginning to do attendance. It's like, hey, is Potent here? Yeah, present. And then you skip class. You still came for roll call. You still came for roll call. Just broke 1100 using the habits. We like to hear all that. Okay, this is technically a pawn. I think we're gonna take it. Roll call, free lunch. You know the drill. You know the drill. Thanks so much, Potent Ponables. I mean, he's gifted a lot of subs, but they've all been during these habit streams. Really. Okay, this pawn push, we just sort of lose it. Let's defend our pawns. Rook in the center as well. So he's really been watching the habit streams, and honestly speaking, the guys who do watch the habit streams and do use them, I can tell. Like when I watch the games, they are improving, and that's a nice thing to see. Thank you, Potent. Man, Potent coming by just to sort of check in, and we said king to the middle, just to check in. Drop 50 subs of support. Okay, trades are instant. Oh, trades are instant. So we said king to the middle, and we have to remember that this pawn is going to run away. So we have to get our rook behind this pawn at some point. So just as a habit, I think we should do it right away. This is one of the only things in our new level 2 that we learned, or that we're going to use. In a rook endgame, all I'm adding is that rooks belong behind pass pawns. That's it. We got to activate our king. You guys know that. in the endgame, we say activate the king and use the rook to, use your pieces to attack pawns. This is what we're trying to do. Oh no. Guys, he just walked into it. Oof. It's not very often at 800 ELO you get to do this. Look at that. That's a KO. A pawn checkmate. Very special. Okay, we got a 900 here. This is actually one of the highest rated opponents we've played. So the idea is I start off every game with e4. Okay, start off every game like this. And against e5, we always bring our knight out. My plan next is not really to take this. We're focusing on just pawn. Usually the knights develop, and then the bishop comes out. We'll bring the knight out. We sort of got this structure. My bishop's probably going to come out here next, and I'm looking to get castled. Okay, it goes here. Again, we'll go here as well. Bishop out, and I'm going to get castled. And I'm going to either put my pawn here or here. Okay, he goes d5. Now again, maybe the best move is take like this, who knows? But every time I see d5, I just count. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 defenders. So I know this is a free pawn. Maybe a pawn takes is better, but I always say start taking with the knight. If I can have a piece here, that would be ideal. So if knight takes, bishop takes. I don't want to double my pawns here if I don't have to, basically. So yeah, knight takes. And people who've been watching this series already, they'll know that I've done this before. I've had lots of examples of taking that pawn in the center, and I always take it with the knight. Okay, knight takes e4. I'm not really going to do a lot of calculating here. Basically, I'm in a castle. The goal of the series is you generally want to castle ASAP. Like you do want to get the king to safety. Now we see bishop there attacking my knight. So I'm going to have to move my knight somewhere. Where can I put the knight? I would sort of tap the knight here, and these little dots pop up. These are all the available squares. Where do I put the knight? I would probably rule out all of these ones because they can be taken. And then I would have to decide between here and here. And pretty quickly, I would hope that we wouldn't choose this one because the bishop is, well, it's attacking the bishop here. So no matter what, I feel like process of elimination, you have to choose this move, right? Because you're guarding the bishop. It's kind of the only one. Okay, now black's taking this. And again, if you're looking at this position, what's the best move here? It's gonna be this. But am I gonna play that? No, I'm actually gonna do this. I'm gonna capture towards the center, because generally when you're at like the 800 ELO level, you're playing reactive chess, which means that when this move happens, you're only focused on that square. So you're gonna capture towards the center, follow some of our habits, and you're gonna take back. And what you'll notice is we've actually blundered a piece here. We blundered a bishop, but we're able to utilize a basic tactic. See if we can get some material back. I'm going to go d3. That's a fork. I'm attacking two pieces at once. So as you can see, the habits are not foolproof, right? I mean, as you can see already, we just lost a piece. So this is not a speed run. This is not me smurfing where I just like win all my games and you guys watch me go from 400 ELO all the way, to the top. It's not that kind of show, This is supposed to be a little bit more relatable. Of course, you're going to drop a piece from time to time at this level, and you're going to drop a piece maybe if you follow the habits. But yeah, we're going to capture towards the center. But I think it's still very manageable. Another rule that we've talked about is generally when there's a trade offered, we take it immediately. So am I going to take this e-pawn? No, I'm actually going to take this knight. Okay, I am gonna go for trades when offered, and I'm gonna try to complete my development. How do I complete development? I get a bishop and a queen that have to move. Let's start with this. Get my queen up to one of those two squares. I like queen here because it controls some center squares. And in general, I'm probably going to put my bishop here because it also controls center squares. It's all about the center for my pieces. Okay, let's bring the rooks to the middle. I'm going to put my bishop here, my rook here, and my two rooks will be controlling the center. My bishop, as you can see here, controlling the center. My queen as well. It's all about the All about the center squares. So you might see me miss a lot of maybe good moves, but it's because I'm bringing my pieces towards the middle. And just focused on the fundamentals. So f6, what's this all about? Don't really know. I always like to say play this move. It's a really important move. It's just an escape square for the king. In this particular example, we already have a square that's free, but one of my favorite things to remind you guys to do is to play h3. It might be annoying. You might be having so much fun looking for tactics in your games. Please play h3. You will not regret it. Okay, time for some random pawn moves over here. I say random, but people who've been watching this series honestly know that after we've played h3 and we've sort of developed all our pieces and we're castled, we honestly do start pushing pawns on the other side of the board. That's just, that's just what we do. Get a few random pawn moves in there. There's no point in explaining, exactly what pawn moves we should do, but just a few random ones, it'll usually be a good thing. Okay, here, I may as well threaten the knight. That's a recapture, so I can pre-move that. Okay, and I'm probably going to move this rook over again to the middle. Again, that's a free pawn, but, for this knight to move and my last couple moves were this, for me to grab my queen and go all the way down there, that's kind of asking a lot. So I'm going to take this. That's a little bit more obvious. If I'm pushing my pawn up, I know pawn moves diagonally. Of course, I'm going to be looking to, keep doing something with my pawn. Okay, my pawn's being attacked. Again, with the random pawn moves, I'm just going to keep pushing. So now I basically don't have any pawn moves left. So apart from maybe getting my rook in the middle, I'm probably going to start pushing my center pawns. Unless my pieces are attacked, then I'll defend them. Pawns move diagonally only when they're capturing. Otherwise, no. Okay, the bishop's being attacked. I have to defend this guy, or I have to move it somewhere safe, right? So where can we put it? Let's put it here. It also attacks something. There's an easy move. Okay, I'll probably bring the rook over and then start pushing some pawns in the middle. It's all about the center. Okay, pawn there. Again, taking is the first instinct. If you're sitting there wondering, hey, why isn't he going bishop takes and queen takes? It's not the easiest thing to see, It's not the easiest thing to see. We're not focused on trying to play these brilliant tactics at this point, but hey, he should have taken with the rook. Now we're going to actually find this tactic just by following our habits. So we're going to make a trade because we say we always want to do trades in general. And what you're going to noticing is the knight was defending the rook, and if our opponent takes back, we always take free pieces, and that's a free piece. So we are actually going to find, a good continuation there, but more out of luck, I guess you could say. You could call it luck, or you could say that following good habits, you'll eventually land on good moves. Okay, king up. So I'm going to bring the rook to the middle, attack the queen. It's kind of an easy move to do. I'm still going to be all about the middle here. I'm up a rook, so trades are really good. If I can trade any pieces, that's what we want to do. Trade any pieces. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my queen in the middle of the board. Again, all about the center. And I'm offering a trade. Of course I want to trade. I want to trade everything if I can. Because I know that if I trade 1 for 1, and watch this, I'm going to trade. We always want to take trades, like I've said so far. Always want to take trades, and look at this. And once we're in the endgame, what are our rules? Our rules are attack opponent's pawns and take them, if possible, and bring the king to the middle. Those are the only 2 rules I have for endgames. Really. So we're going to use our rook. We're going to take as many pawns as we can. Okay? Taking pawns. That shouldn't be too complicated. We'll leave the rook in the middle. Okay, and now bring our king up to the middle as well. Okay? Why do you always want to trade? I just think it makes it easier. It's less to think about, and it's an easy rule to follow. Most of the time, if someone offers a fair trade, it's not that bad to take it. Okay, let's leave the rook in the center. Just an idea. You don't have to, but following our habits, all about the center squares. And once we've got our king in the middle, we've taken some pawns. What's the last thing that we want to do is we generally want to push our pawn. So we want to push our pawn and get a queen. Oh, okay. Can we take this? We want to take pawns where possible. We want to push pawns to get a queen. Okay, and in order to push this pawn, I'm gonna cut the king off and push, right? So I really do have like 3 main rules for endgames. Put the queen in the middle, and hey, we've used the ladder technique before. You guys remember this? We're lucky that it works out really nicely here, but yeah, it's just gonna be queen there, rook there, mate. There's a nice game. Yeah, Jordan, definitely. So when you're in any endgame, it so happens in this endgame, I was up a rook. But let's just imagine that black also had a rook. I would play pretty similar. I would go here, and okay, if they didn't defend, I would take it. If they defended, then I would probably bring my king in the middle. You know, the ideas are the same. You want to attack pawns in the endgame. So attack pawns where possible. Bring the king to the middle. Always activate the king. Don't spend a lot of time with your king in the corner. You want to get to the middle ASAP. Okay? And then the last thing is that if you're winning an endgame, or even if you're losing, it's really good to push a pass pawn. If you ever have a pawn that has no pawns in front of it or beside it, anywhere, push it. You would be surprised how effective that is. You take a pawn and you start pushing it to the end. Most people don't stop it. You know, for people rated under 1,000, that pawn usually just goes all the way. Trust me. I've seen it, and actually you guys have seen it just watching the series. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And never resign. That's an important one. Never resign. McLag face. All right, you guys know we start with e4. Okay, knight f3. These should all be habits. Now, again, we're not going to be tempted by any of this stuff. No, we're just going to go here. Knights to the middle. They're all covering a central square. 2 of them, in fact. Let's get the bishop out. Okay, he's doing the same thing. Let's get castled. d3, not d4. If I play d4, it's actually going to be the same blunder that my opponents are making. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 are the only pieces that support d4. Okay, so I'm going to play d3 and not d4. Now my bishop can get out. You know, these are the squares it can move to. Obviously, we take out this one and this one because pawns can take us, so we're not going to blunder our bishop. So we can go here, here, or here. Right? And this looks like a very aggressive way to develop. It's a pin. I'll probably choose this one. But bishop here is also a good one. I wouldn't choose this if I could avoid it because these are more aggressive squares and they're out a little bit further. So I'm gonna choose to go here. That's a pin. We've recently learned what pins are in this series, so we're gonna use one. b5 attacking our bishop. We're just gonna move our bishop back. And the nice thing about the bishop moving back is that we're still attacking the same central square as when we were here, right? So nothing has changed. That's the good thing about bishops. No matter how far away you go, you're still attacking the same diagonal. Don't forget that. Sounds like a plan, Airbus, eh? Sounds like a plan. A reasonable time. Thanks for all the support these days, Airbus driver. You know it, man. We appreciate that a lot. Helps us keep doing what we're doing in the background. We got a lot of things like a merch store, a YouTube. We have a whole team involved, and it's a whole infrastructure here, not just the stream. And it definitely goes beyond the stream. So appreciate your support, helping make that happen. Take care, Airbus. We'll see you soon, man. Have a good sleep. Okay, d6. So he's doing the same thing. Now, what we might do here, we're following the habits, is just get the pieces out. However, we talked about something, and this is more for the people that have really seen every habit stream so far. We've talked about something, and it's knight d5. Okay, knight d5, and the idea is that is a pin. And we talked about, hey, if I can double these pawns here, I move my bishop there, and this is just a strategy that we've looked at together, we analyzed together. And if those pawns double, usually white ends up winning the game really fast, actually. Hey, score. Those collared shirts with the chessbrah logo were we might sell them at some point, but it's kind of a more difficult thing to sell at the moment. But I know they look very good. I'm glad people like them, but they're not quite available yet. How do you defend against this move? We also talked about that. So again, that's something that hopefully people who've been watching this series should know. But one of the ways to defend is to get the bishop here early so you can take this guy. And the other way is to always make sure you have, your H pawn up to maybe stop this guy from going there and pinning you in the first place. So there's a few ways. Okay, but you see, it's a very strong move. It's just one idea that I know and that we've talked about together. And you see how powerful it is. See how powerful it is. My opponent is not having a good time here. I know it doesn't look like much. I know it doesn't look like much. Okay, so he brings his knight in. And again, before I do anything here, what we're going to talk about is the fact that we're very reactive at this level, okay? So when he goes knight there, we're not going to go and do our own plan over here because when we see this move, we react to this move. And that can be a good or a bad thing. Generally, I think it's a bad thing, but I think that it's a very real thing that people do at this ELO. I think that when a move gets played, they're more likely to react to that move than do what they were planning last turn. It's like they kind of forget what they were up to. They see the highlight on this and they're like, oh, damn, I gotta, okay, knight there, okay, I take it. So that's how we're gonna play. We're gonna play reactive. I don't think that's always a good thing, but that's what we're gonna do. So knight there, of course, it's a capture. I've said we always take captures, so we're gonna take it. He takes back, and now it's back to our other plan. It's back to our other plan. We talked about this, so we're going to continue. First of all, that's a capture. We said we want to take captures. Now, our bishop's attacked. We're going to put our bishop here. We attack the rook, and what I talked about was that when we get this position in front of the king, if our queen gets to that square or that square, it's going to be checkmate. Okay? It's going to be checkmate. That's something we've talked about. So I'm going to keep that in mind going forward. Now, he's taken this, very reactive. Again, I'm not going to continue my plan over here or take his rook because he just took something of mine and he's threatening something of mine. So I'm going to be very reactive. I'm going to go rook here. I'm going to defend my piece first. Okay, but we have talked about an idea where our queen gets out here and checkmates this king. That's one of the only real sort of advanced patterns we've talked about is using this pin. And I said, when that pin happens and the pawns get doubled like this, the queen gets out, it's just checkmate. Queen gets out, it's just checkmate. Okay, bishop there. Again, reactive. Reactive. So reactive means I'm probably not going to take this bishop. I see this last move, I'm going to react to that last move. Plus, it's a trade. I always want trades. So I'm going to take it. And I definitely think queen g4, well, queen g4, queen g7, of course. It's a very, very good move. But there's a free piece right here. We're going to take the free piece. Of course, we want to do this, but if there's a free piece on the board, and again, if you guys played this move instead of playing this move, I'm not going to say that you guys are blundering. Of course, rook takes b2 is a great move. So we might miss this this idea because we're focused on taking a free piece, and that's fine. That's fine. Rook f7. However, we're not going to forget that this was our plan. So we're going to go here. We're going to go here. Why didn't I take the rook? Just because I have this bishop here for a checkmate idea. It's just something that we've talked about together, and we analyzed together. Let's take this. That's a fork, by the way. That is a fork. It doesn't look like much, but it is a fork. Oh, trades. We don't even think about them, guys. Any trades we take. We take. Okay, let's play h3. Again, I could do anything here. You guys probably have 1,000 moves to recommend me. Whatever, f4. I'm always going to play h3. No matter what. You can't forget to play that. At some point in your game, you're going to get caught up. You're going to bring your rooks out. You're going to forget about this move, and you're going to get back rank mated. And I promise you, it'll never happen. It'll never happen if you play that. This is a super important move. It'll really help you out. Okay, it goes there. It's time for some random pawn moves. Let's go here. Yeah, if we ever see trades, we take trades. We see trades, we take trades. There's one. We got to use our rooks. Let's get my rook to the center. I know rook here makes a lot more sense. but we're going to stick to the fundamentals. Okay, that's a trade. That's a trade. Let's get rook to the middle. Random pawn moves. I know. It sounds funny, but that really is how to play. Okay, he's hitting my bishop. Let's bring the bishop back to control a center square. A nice safe spot. And following our random pawn moves, I think we will play d4. You know, pushing all our pawns. And this is all to do with the center. All to do with the center. So he takes, and again, you can see, I'm trying to tell you guys, at this ELO, people take. They have a really hard time holding the tension. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take back. And would you look at that? What's that called? We know what that's called. That's called a pin. And we're going to take it, of course. We need to take our material. And now, how about our endgame? What have we said? We said attack pawns with rooks. So we're going to try to use our rooks and attack these pawns as best we can. Oh, he didn't even play the rest. He just resigned. So I was going to say attack the pawns, and then we'll bring our king to the middle, following our rules from last time. Damn, he just resigned. Didn't even play it out. He was up 8 seconds. So this is why I would say never resign. That's my advice to you. Don't resign. Can you imagine if you were playing black here and resigned? Look at what just happened. That's 3 points for me. But if he kept playing, there's a good chance that he even flags me, for sure. 22 seconds? This is not easy. Never resign. Okay, e4, we play e5. It's nice that we get a game with the black pieces, so we basically always play e5 against e4, knight there. And after knight there, attacking these two center squares, we're going to bring our knight out because it matches. Covers the same two squares. Yep, take trades even in the opening. Okay, every time a bishop comes here, knight comes here, knight comes here, we pretty much want to do this. Especially if it's a bishop, make sure that's an immediate reaction. Always a6, okay? a6, he moves his bishop back, we'll continue with our development. That's just something we want to throw in. That's one of the rules. So if you ever have a bishop there, just boot it away. Boot it away. All right, so we'll bring the knight. Chess Society. Holy smokes, thank you. You're here at the right time, Chess Society. I feel like I consistently get these really nice reads from the Chess Society channel during these habit streams. I don't know what it is. Somehow we're syncing up on our time zones or something. But thank you for the raid and the host. I mean, that's pretty much 300 people right there. Chess Society. Thanks so much. Welcome, guys. I appreciate it. I think we have some mods here. Hopefully we can get a shout out. Okay, castles. We're gonna bring our bishop out. Get a shout out to Chess Society. Chess Society. I hope you had a good stream. I don't know what you were up to today. What was going on the Chess Society channel? What'd you guys do? We're doing a little learning here. Last night we had a lot of drinks and did the opposite of learning, so now we have to make up for it. I gotta make sure my viewers don't forget the basics. D3. Okay, I'm gonna go D6. Just supports the center. At the basic level, I would say castle ASAP, but it's usually good to spend that extra move just fully supporting the center and then getting castle. Damn, we really don't have any mods. Okay. Sorry, boys. Chess Society. Thanks again for the raid host, whatever you want to call it. Just send in the people over here. That's awesome. Shout out Chess Society. Links in the chat. You guys should give them a follow. They've been really nice. Sending raids, like I said, it feels like every habit stream, and we've done a lot of these. Yeah, mod check. Okay, knight out. What are we gonna do? We're gonna castle, right? What happened to Warshep's sword? Well, let's just say you should have been here last night. Let's just say you should have been here last night. Okay, bishop there. So this is great. Bishop there. First of all, what did I say? A6, H6, whenever a bishop comes there. So when you see this happen, you shouldn't even think. Literally, just like brain dead, play H6. Don't even calculate. Okay? So because he played this move, he looks like a guy who was not going to take. But he does take. I think this is a mistake. You should generally keep the tension. Think of it this way. Why did you put the bishop there? Did you really put it there to take the knight? I hope not. I hope not. You want to spend 2 moves to take a knight that moved once? What you should be doing is putting this here to pin. That's the beauty of that move. It pins things, right? It's not that you get to take the knight, it's that you pin the knight, so the knight can't move. And as soon as you go here, you realize, look, bishop there keeps the pin. It keeps the whole reason of why you did that. So he takes. I mean, he just sort of gives up everything. Gives up the whole reason. Now, knight there, that's a fork. We've seen this in our habit streams quite a lot. It's a fork. There's only one way to get out of this. This is the only move that defends both things at once. So we are going to play queen here. Defending bungled. I've definitely seen that plan for sure. We faced it a few times. He goes rook there. How are we going to complete our development, guys? How are we going to complete our development? We have this bishop we need to get out, right? Okay, bishop g4. And again, if we get attacked, are we taking the knight? Hell no. Hell no, guys. We're going to go back, right? We're going to keep the pin. Why am I going here? I'm going here to pin the knight, not to take it. I want to pin the knight. That's important. If the queen moves, I want to take it because then the pawns double. So look, he goes there. I'm going to go here. And that is so much more annoying to his position than him just giving up his bishop for my knight, right? My position is fine now. His position, he's probably wishing he still had this pin. Okay, he goes c3. There we go. So he's controlling the center square. That's a really good move by him, by the way. And we need to finish development. So number one, rook to the middle. This queen probably up, rook over. That's how we're going to finish. Okay, bishop gets attacked. If I go here, the knight can take it. So I'll probably go all the way back. But even bishop here would be a good move. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not the best move, but it's definitely not a blunder. Not even close. So yeah, queen here, rook over. That'll be us finishing our development. If I go back, is g4 not annoying? No, the thing is g4, I just moved my bishop again. And look at the repercussions. White has moved 2 pawns in front of the king. This guy has so much space around him, it's not a good thing. Okay, that's a trade. You guys know, we do trades right away. The only trade we're generally cautious about at this level with the habits series is bishop for knight, especially when it's a pin. That's the only one we're not looking to really do. Okay, he goes there. Let's put our queen up. I know it looks like we're walking into a pin, but this is what we want to do. We want to just bring the rook in, finish development. Because this pin is so annoying, and he probably doesn't even realize it, but his bishop giving up for my knight and my bishop not giving up for his knight is the main difference in this game. It's why I think I have a better position here. Nothing else. Nothing else. You know? Okay, and look. You see what I mean? You see what I mean, guys? Now I win the queen. I win the game. Like you know? And it's all because I kept the pin. It's such a frustrating thing when people just bring their bishops out and they just take the knight. Like, for example, credit to my opponent, by the way. We're laughing, having a good time. We just won a queen, but credit to my opponent. Look at his bishop here. Do you see this bishop? It's pinning my knight to the queen and the rook. This bishop is so strong. Imagine he had the bishop here pinning the knight as well. He would have so much control. But this bishop is doing such a good job. The bishop here just gave itself up. Okay. We need to do something in the middle of the board here. We need to do some random pawn moves. This move doesn't look very, very good. We have this bishop here. And you see how this bishop is pinning the knight? I can't actually move the knight. Right? I can't move the knight. I got to move my queen, but where am I supposed to move the queen? Let's make a rook move in the middle. You see how annoying his bishop is pinning the knight? It's not an easy position to play. Okay, so we need to move our knight, but, you know, it's it's an absolute disaster. This is actually a blunder. Bishop takes a knight there, but it's an advanced blunder. It's an advanced blunder. You know, he's going to have to see a good tactic, and he might. And you know, our blunders are... Why would this be a normal blunder? Because this pin is so annoying. It's causing me to blunder. Like, if I put my queen here, he has knight takes there. It's all because of his pin. He might not realize it, though. He might not realize it. Okay, that's a pawn we want to take. I know it blunders our queen, but again, we're going to take things. These blunders happen. This is kind of an advanced blunder again, like I was saying. Rook takes. We got to save our queen. Let's move it somewhere safe. Let's go here. Advanced blunder. Even our blunders are good blunders. Even our blunders are good blunders. Let's take that. Let's take that. This hasn't been a perfect game by us, but that pin was really good. Now let's take that thing in the middle of the board. That's a free pawn for me. Looks good. Hey, that's a free piece. You know we take free pieces, guys. That's one of our rules, actually. That's one of our main habits. Take free things. Take free things. Pushing a pawn in the middle is probably what I'm going to do. Plus, it's a pass pawn. Push him, baby. Push him, baby. I am threatening this rook, so he's got to move it. Okay. I said he's got to move it, but I was wrong. I was wrong. So we took the rook. Queen takes would be better, but I think it makes more sense to take with the bishop because we just put our bishop here. We knew we were threatening it. There we go. And he ended up blundering quite a lot at the end of the game, but this is going to happen to you. You might think that it's not a big deal, this whole bishop thing, but I put the bishop here and I did not make this move. I think a lot of people in chat would do this, and it's fine to admit that. My opponent did the same thing. It's easy to go for trades, right? I even had trades as one of the main things in my first level of this series, but in the second level, we quickly learned that pins are ones we want to keep. Keeping the pin keeps the pressure. The pressure of this pin, I mean, it ties the queen to the knight, and the knight can't move. So I'm tying 2 pieces down. And if I take, I'm getting rid of one of mine for one of his, which couldn't have moved anyway. Plus, I'm freeing up the queen. So I'm helping them so much. You have to keep pins, keep pressure. Okay, pals. Let's see here. Ophikius, take care. Okay, we've seen this opening before. Hopefully, even if you've only seen a few games here, that you guys are starting to understand what our beginning moves are going to be every single time, right? It's always this. Now, whenever I see this bishop here, what did I say? What did I say? I said we want to play h3, right? The same way when the bishops came here and here, we played h6 and a6. We play a3 and h3. It's just an immediate reaction. We attack this bishop. Okay, well, following the habits, I have to take the free piece. Okay. Well, there's an interesting. I must have missed that combination. H5, H4, a pass pawn. Don't know what Chief is up to over there, but I'm going to continue with the habits. D3, but I said if I could play D4, that I do want to play D4. I do want to play D4. So let's play D4. Is there a reason to go knight F3 before knight C3? Generally, it's good to move the pieces on this side of the board because you want a castle. That's the main reason. Okay, we take because we always take trades. Hey, this is another trade. You know we're going to do it. And hey, this is another trade. You know we're going to do it. See how easy chess is? Just trade everything. Easy clap. Okay, yeah, let's get castled and pieces developed. I want to get my pieces to the middle of the board. This move actually does attack this pawn. Does attack that pawn, but it's actually really weird that I would have a pawn there, so I wouldn't be surprised to actually lose this pawn in this position. I'm going to play here because that's me developing, but it is weird for me to have a pawn on g4. Okay, that's actually a trade, so I'm going to have to take that. And to finish development, I want to put a rook here and a rook here. Rook on an open file. Can't complain about that. Just trade, 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 trade. Well, James UK, we got to take it in stride, right? Obviously, that would be good, but hard to teach that at the very start. Okay, he goes h3. Am I going to take this rook? No. I see this move, I react to this move. That's how we do it. So I'm going to react, I'm going to take. After he takes back, then I'm going to take down here. Okay, that's a trade. And okay, I can bring my rook, you know, like with a check to the open file, attacking the center. All my pieces contributing to the center here. And now we're all of a sudden in an endgame, right? All of a sudden we're in an endgame. Let's get a few random pawn moves. Okay, a5. He's kind of stopping me from the randomness, which is annoying. Let's, I don't know, knight in the center of the board. All about the center. Not a hard move to make. Don't move b pawn. Well, the thing preventing me from moving the b pawn, you might be like, hey, why didn't I do this? It's because I'm hanging a piece. And that might be difficult for you guys to realize because trust me, that is a weird piece hang. That is not easy to see. So that's an example of where it might take you a long time to realize that, or you might not realize it and you might hang it, right? But for me, I'm playing as if the rules are guarantees. Whoa, MBL. Just saw that host, man. That is insane. MBL. And that is not MVL for people wondering, our chess friends. MBL. An Age of Empires streamer. Man, I really appreciate the host there, MBL. Yeah, exactly. MBL from Age of Empires. So not to be confused, why am I doing this? That is a discovered attack. I know it looks advanced, but this is important. We know basic tactics now. Discovered check, discovered attack, those are basic tactics. Let's bring the king to the middle. That's what we want to do in endgames. Oh yeah, Eric and I are actually big into Age of Empires. Age of Empires is one of the first games that I pretty much ever played, I want to say. The main games I played, I only gamed on PC. I played Age of Empires and I played racing games like Need for Speed. Need for Speed, Age of Empires was like my main part of my childhood. Okay, let's try to take pawns with our rook. That's what it's all about. Big shout out to MBL though. Thank you so much. Can we get a maybe a mod can get a shout out? MBL AOC just hosted us with like 800 viewers. It's nuts. Yeah, Need for Speed and Age of Empires 2. Age of Empires 2, of course, is the only one, by the way. I think everyone knows that. Obviously, they have a new one now, which was released, but in general. Okay. So basically, like, I've done nothing really too special. I've just taken literally every pawn that I could. I've taken every pawn I could. Okay, he's got a knight. Knight's very tricky. He should have probably gone there. What am I going to do? I have a pass pawn. I'm just going to push it. I'm not going to think twice. I'm not going to think twice. Okay, that's a capture with check. And hey, that's the last pawn we can take. That's the last pawn we can take. And that's a capture, right? Of course, I'm going to take that. And it's all about this pawn. Push, 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 push. And a rook's getting attacked. We don't want to lose it. I think in general, like, rook in the center is always a default good place to go. Okay, and we have a ladder technique. How can we do the ladder technique, guys? Well, we start with a check, controlling the center as well. And this is one of the only checkmating techniques we know, actually. One of the only techniques we know. But it's the only one you need to know. At this level, trust me, the ladder technique will get you most of the wins that you need. And there we go. There we go. We can get a KO for that. That was a good game. Here's one. Okay, so d4. We haven't seen this opening, or maybe you guys haven't today. d5. So I usually just copy it and bishop there. Just get developed. Usually do the knights. Okay, and then the bishop. So you see, like, all my moves are pretty much the exact same as when I play with the white pieces, right? So I'm not doing anything too crazy. That's a trade. We're going to go for trades. We're going to play e6. We're going to get the bishop out. We're going to castle. Nice and simple. Nothing too complicated here, guys. Nothing too complicated. Pieces all to the pretty much the same squares. Say that's a trade. We'll take it. That's a trade. We'll take it. Let's castle. Okay, he goes knight there. We're going to take it. We always take trades. We always look to put the knight in the center of the board where possible. So if I can't go here, I'm going to choose this square. So we'll stick with the habits. Knight into e4, knight d2. We'll go for a trade as always. Well, that was fun. I had a good time. Great. Yeah, chess is fun. That took probably about 1 minute of my life. This is what I'm saying, guys. The habits aren't foolproof. You know? The habits are not foolproof. Right? Some point in time, you will be led astray by the habits. That's the point. They're not like guaranteed wins. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not out here just winning every single game. Right? Not out here winning every single game. So, all I did was go for all the trades just like before. But simply forgetting that queen to h7 can happen in this position before he takes it back. Okay, we took our trade. You know, we did everything we were supposed to do. And it didn't work out for us, right? So just a reminder that it will not always work out. Let's go into analysis. We always analyze our losses. You're shook I didn't see that? Just remember what show you're watching. Okay, let's take a look. What's the report? See? How am I supposed to, this goddamn cheater. 97.8? Get this guy out of here. What am I supposed to do? Kappa. Obviously, he's not cheating. He didn't do anything spectacular. He just traded a bunch of pieces. And I blundered mate. That's all that happened. Right? It was just one blunder. That's it. GG. GG. All right, e4, e5. Knight there, and attacking those two central squares. What do we do? Knight c6 to match that, of course. This is what we've been doing the whole stream. c3. We haven't seen this move yet, actually. This is sort of a new one. Let's just proceed as normal for the moment. He goes d4. We're going to take it because, yeah, always go for trades. Always go for trades. He takes back. Now, I mean, I'm looking at that pawn. It's looking a little tasty. It's hard for me to say no right now, guys. That is a free pawn in the center. Hey, if I get crushed here, I get crushed. I get crushed. But that is what I would play. Okay, d5. Now I have to move my knight. Where do we move this knight? I want to move it to the center, but I cannot. Those squares are not available. Anything away from the center is maybe playable, but I would always go central first. So if I can't go here, I would choose this square. It's the next most central thing. It does attack a central square. These are the central squares I'm talking about. Okay, so we go here. He goes knight into e5. Now, I need to develop my bishops. I haven't developed them at all. So I feel like d6 is the natural move, hitting that knight, and also letting my pieces breathe. So I'm going to go d6. Bishop e5. Again, my king is in check. I need to somehow defend against this. Bishop there seems to walk into bishop takes. So I kind of have to play c6, right? There's just no way I can do that move. So we go c6. We see what happens. He takes. Again, when people take, you're not usually taking something else. You're reacting. So that was the last move. I'm going to take that. Damn. Ahmed is closing in. He's really closing in. Okay, knight takes. Again, trades, we take. Trades, we take. And oof, what a painful fork. Bishop here. We have to get out of this. And this is actually a teachable moment for you guys. If you ever have the chance to take a knight or take a rook for a bishop, you always take the knight. Always take the knight. I've explained this before, but one of the most important things that I think I could say in a very short period of time is this. If you ever have a choice between taking something for free and making a trade of any kind, you almost always want to take the thing for free. In chess, it's better if you have something that your opponent doesn't have, rather than you have something better than what the opponent has, if that makes sense. It's always better to have something they don't have than have something better than they have. So I would take like a free knight instead of a queen for a rook. I would always take a free knight instead of a queen for a rook. Because if I just have one extra knight for free, I can probably do more with that. I'm probably closer to winning than if I have like a queen for a rook. It doesn't always hold up, but I think it's good advice. F3, our knight's being attacked. I'm going to go back here, still attack the center. Always is a strong word. I think always is a good way for people to operate when you're beginning in chess. It's nice to have absolutes when you're starting out. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to do this at this point, but not at this point? That's confusing. No, just always do it. It'll fail you sometimes, but most of the time it'll help. Okay, our bishop's being attacked, so we can't castle. Well, let's move my bishop to the center. That'll help me out. The rook's attacking the bishop, so I can't castle. Oh, Ahmed's really closing in here, boys. This might be the Ahmed gambit. Let's castle. Free pawn over queen for pawn? No, pawns aren't pieces. Pawns aren't pieces. But if you ask me a free knight instead of a queen for a knight, honestly, yes, I think the free knight, basically what I'm saying is that if you take a free knight instead of taking a queen for a knight, I'm not going to complain. I think you're making a good move. Might not be the best move, but it's still a very good move. Having something your opponent doesn't have is very valuable. Okay, it goes there. Now, we sort of talked about we'd be playing a6. Oh, he's really closing in, boys. He's really closing in. Okay, our queen's attacked. Let's make a move to at least get a little bit more towards the center. Our bishop's gonna be gobbled here. Johnny Mexico, by the way. Oh, I was about to say he's really giving us the work, but Johnny Mexico with a slip up there, and we're right back in it, boys. We're right back in it. There we go. Johnny Mexico. We'll take it. Oh, he's really closing in. Okay, I think he's pretty much here. One sec. Let's play this move. Let's play h6. Okay, rook to open file in the center. We got our escape square. This is good. Rook down. Okay, some random pawn moves time. Yeah, and also this one. I'm gonna start pushing this pawn too. Okay, yeah. Push, 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 push. Okay, I'd like to keep pushing, but I can't really do that. Here we go. This is a move towards the center. Also attacks two things. Okay, this is a recapture. Easy, easy. Johnny Mexico. That's very nice. Very nice. We got back in the game here. Oh, rook there. This looks like our patented fork. This looks like our patented fork. Johnny Mexico is getting hit with a basic tactic. Oh no. Oh no for Buddy. Sure. Free stuff for me? You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. Okay. Now that we have this position, I think the winning plan is just push this pawn. Basically, I want to push this pawn the entire way home. Let's see if I can do that. Push, push, push. Okay, how do I get this queen out of the way? Right? That's my next question. I can't push because the queen is basically sitting in front. Oh, okay, never mind. Now I can push. Now I can push. Yep. Here we go. You see, guys, when I say push past pawns, look how easily it works. I mentioned this earlier. Push your past pawn. People at this ELO, they don't stop you. They honestly don't. Check. Let's give him a check. Let's give him another check. Oh, it's checkmate. The knight is there. The knight is there watching g4. Pushing past pawns, by the way, is goated. This is a really OP maneuver. Back to the habits. We're expecting e5 because everyone plays e5. And anything but e5, whether it's this, or I've actually seen this move a few times, I generally consider like kind of offbeat for this ELO. But what we're going to do, if they ever do not take the center with us, we take the center right away. And then just, you know, knights developed, bishops out, castle. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. Okay, well, a capture. You guys know the drill. We take captures. We take captures, queen takes. We're going to keep going with the knights, and this is even easier because it attacks the queen. Okay, bishop out. I put my bishop on that square pretty much every time we play. So hopefully this is getting more and more second nature to you guys. Like, you've seen this before. You've seen this before. Knight there. He's threatening this pawn. Again, we could push the pawn in the center, but I like the idea at the early stages when you're developing your habits to try at all costs to develop pieces to deal with threats. So I think d5 would be a very good move, potentially, but I'm just going to move my bishop here. It covers the pawn, and it develops a piece. So I like moves like that. Multi-purpose. Hey, Pippin check. Oh, no worries, man. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, Lafong's an old friend of ours. Okay, let's take. Remember, we said anytime there's a capture, we're going to take it. This series will be on YouTube. I just don't want to post the whole VODs on YouTube. So we're trying to package it into smaller videos. Bishop takes. Okay, again. Bishop takes, we're going to go for all the trades possible. Bishop takes, I think, is not a very good move. Let's take with the knight. Knight takes. Again, there's trades on the board, so we're going to do the trades, and then we got to save our bishop. And when our bishop gets attacked, I think what we always do is we go back, right? We still exert our pressure on the center. We don't have to be here. We can be here. We could be all the way on a2. We do the exact same thing. It's the point of diagonals. Doesn't matter where you are on the diagonal, you're just as powerful, even if you're way far back. He brings the knight out. Let's get castle. Again, this could be a good move, but I think it's kind of a bad habit to move the same piece twice. So what we're going to do is focus on developing, castling, pieces to the middle. That h3 move. He's attacking our bishop. Number one thing we can do, though, is start with this. Why? That's a check. That's a check. Okay, and let's get our other rook in. Again, I know that we want to hang on to this bishop usually, but we're not going to try to overcomplicate things here. We're just going to do a nice, simple way of playing. Rooks to the middle. I know this pawn is hanging, but focus on finishing your development and getting h3 in, and then start to think about those other aggressive plans. Okay, knight there. Let's go h3. Assume he's going to take me, or he should. Definitely should take me. Ooh, okay, so he does this, right? And he's literally leaving us to free knight, right? And what do we say, guys? We always take free things. Always take free things. He takes our knight, we're gonna take back. And look, that h3 move paid off even better here because we actually won a piece. Okay, king over. Now we can start to do things like take that pawn that's been hanging for many moves. Okay, I'm going to save our bishop. Why don't we go all the way back to where we just were? That's nice and safe. Cowboy mode. You were watching this 2 weeks ago. The strategy was just pushing pawns in the middle, or putting pawns in the middle, and it's already surpassed your ELO. Well, that's still the strategy. Strategy hasn't changed. Strategy hasn't changed. Okay, pawn here is reasonable, but let's sort of like move our rook because it's getting attacked and put it in the center. That's a multi-purpose move. That's an interesting analogy. Tommy Fukin Shelby says repetition is the mother of learning. Tactics is the daddy. What about the chessbrah channel, Tommy? What's the chessbrah channel in that analogy? Bishop there, let's double the rooks. Okay, b6. Well, I think a check is a nice easy move to play. He's going to go here, and bishop d5 is a tactic, but very advanced tactic. Trading rooks is nice and simple. We don't need to be complicated here. Chessbrah is your cousin who needs Velcro shoes? Oh no. That's not a good look for us. Wait, does anyone still remember back when it was actually very normal to have Velcro wallets? Do you remember that? How weird is that? That'll be $9. Okay, just a sec. It's like, whoa. Jeez. Okay, bring the king to the middle. H5. So again, use pieces to attack pawns, bring king to the center, right? That's our goal. Let's get a couple random pawn moves in here. Used to feel cool back then. Hell yeah. I bust out my Velcro wallet. It's time to pay. Oh yeah, the chain as well. Damn. Damn. Okay, let's rook in the middle of the board. And it also attacks a pawn. You still have a Velcro wallet? Okay. Are you, by any chance, quite young? Trades. Always want to do trades. How do we attack this pawn? Let's try to go like this and bring this rook somewhere to attack it as well. Oh, trades. Trades are always good. Remember, if he takes, I'm probably going to take towards the center, just because my pawns are doubled and it helps them undouble. Another good habit, generally speaking. Okay, so I'm not going to think twice. If it's a trade, we take it. We take it. Now, use my rook, attack the pawn here. Rook f6, guarding, and remember what we said about the king. Active kings win endgames. Bring your king out. Use it. It's an attacking piece. Look at this. I'm going to get in the middle of the board. He might just like check me, not really notice what I'm up to. But my king is trying to like make its way and actually attack this guy. So use your king as like an aggressive piece. Look, I'm in the center, using my king, being annoying. Attacking a pawn. Let's save that. Save my pawn. Bishop here would also have been a good move. It's a move in the center. Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, in general, I think I'm doing well here. pushing. Well, I think this even makes some sense. We want to push our pawn. The idea is I want to win this pawn and then push this pass pawn. Okay, it goes b5. We'll take towards the center, right? So keeping the same habits. And we'll take because, number one, it's a capture, so we always do it anyway. And number two, it's actually a free pawn. So we'll keep the king in the middle here. It's very active from the middle of the board. Oh, unfortunately for him, that is a free rook. He did, Big Red, he did. That's a free rook. And remember, how do we convert this, guys? How do we convert this? We once we take the pawn, we have a pass pawn. We just push it. Push it. This should be just automatic, automatic. Let's go. And now we try to maybe give some checks. Try to get rid of his last pawn. Here we go. And let's see if we can check our way to victory. It's the rook and queen you want to use. And always give checks. If you don't check here, you might stalemate. So make sure whatever you're doing is a check. And would you look at that? We're 850 now. 850. Here we go. Do you think you guys could help me out with some of the moves? Especially people like if you're looking to practice the habits, this is how you practice it. I'm sitting here in my game. You guys should be able to help me out and pretty much play most of the moves that I would play. That's the idea. Like when you see this, I think everybody should know the next move. Literally everybody, right? Knight f3. You get the idea. Knight c6. What's the idea, right? What's the next move? I think for at least the first like 10 moves, we should all be on the same page. Knight c3, right? We want to do the knights first. Usually what we do. Okay? Gets the bishop out. What's our next move, right? You get the hang of it. I think all you guys can apply the habits this way. Bishop c4. Yeah, okay. Someone said king e2. I think he's still at level 0. Bishop c4. Okay, a6. Do we care about this move? Does it do anything? No. Let's get castled. Get castled. Okay, he goes here. How about the next move? Can I play d4? That's what we want to look at when we're deciding with this d-pawn. Can I play d4? You know, you count the defenders. 1, 2, 3. And us, 1, 2. No. Can't play d4. Can't play d4? Then we play d3, right? We got to do one of them because we got to get this bishop out. So we go d3. We go d3. f5. When we see f5, how are we going to react to this move? We first have to execute some trades. First of all, that is a pawn trade. We're going to take it without even thinking. He takes f5. Now you might say, oh, we're supposed to do this trade. Well, first you do this because that's the latest move. We're going to react to it. f5, we take it. Right? It's very aggressive. He takes back. Bishop can take the knight. However, if you have been paying attention, we have talked about one concept. And that is we want to take every trade, but the one trade that we want to think twice about and not necessarily do is we don't want to give a bishop away for a knight for no reason. For no reason at all. And to me, I see this as being no reason at all. His knight has not moved in the game at all. I got my bishop out to a great square. I don't see any reason to just take this for nothing. Bishop to g5. Sure, I like the way you guys are thinking. Let's attack the queen. Let's develop our piece. How about after this? We've attacked his queen. Now he develops his knight. How are we going to keep the momentum? How are we going to keep following the habits? You know, what do we have to do now? What do we have to do now? I like that some people are suggesting knight d5. I do like that. The only reason I wouldn't suggest knight d5 is that there's no pawn here. If there was pawns here and here, I love knight d5 because it takes advantage of the pin. But if black has to take with the pawn here, there's not going to be double pawns. It's not as good. Not as good. So rook e1. I like rook e1. Big fan of rook e1. The guys who said knight d5, though, you definitely get marks for that. That's not a bad suggestion at all. Okay, knight's attacking bishop. Where do we put the bishop? Don't even think twice about it. Every time you get attacked, just put it back. Don't think twice. If he takes you, you capture towards the center. Just go back, Whether it's a pawn that attacks you, a knight that attacks you, whatever it is, he attacks you, go back, we take towards the center, right? Okay, castle's this way. How do we finish development? We got our queen and our rook to finish development with. Queen d2, queen e2, a lot of suggestions either way. I think both moves are very acceptable. In general, we've been doing this one more than that one. So we'll stick with queen d2, supporting the bishop. Is rook a5 crazy? It's not crazy. It's just stupid. No, of course not. I mean, rook a5 is just unnecessary. That's the best move for it. First of all, what are you doing? On a5, you're attacking a bishop. Bishop's guarded by a pawn. So what's the main goal by putting the rook up there? Are you doing something horizontally, right? The rooks are always generally going to be better operating behind things, not on the side. So to finish development here, we would go rook here. And then we want to play d4. This is going to be our next idea. Okay. d4, please. You guys are hooked on playing d4 because it's a good move when the rook's pinning it. Focus on the habits. Development. Finish development first. And I don't see anyone saying h3. Sag. Poor h3. Not getting any love. Poor h3. I reminded you guys all the time. That's my favorite move. It really is such an important move. h3. Just play h3. It will save you. It will save you. Okay. He plays this. It's time for our random pawn move. And can our random pawn move be in the center? Yes, it can. That is supported enough times. Let's go. Time for d4. Can I explain h3? I explain it all the time. It's a safety square for your king, and it helps control a square. All that's good stuff. h3 means you will never get back rank checkmated. At this ELO, everyone gets back rank checkmated. So let's not do it. b4. Where does our knight go? Can we go in the center? Here. No. What's the next best central square? Knight e2. Yes. Remember, guys, it's not about, hey, what's the best move in this position? It's, hey, what is the move that follows the habits in this position? Start getting into that mindset. Eventually, you will realize that the best move and the move that follows the habits are not always the same. Probably at the lower your ELO, the more they're going to be aligned. And the higher your ELO, the more they're going to separate. Okay, knight e4 is threatening our queen, threatening our bishop. We got to move our queen. I think it makes a sense to choose a central square, or at least go towards the center. So I'm going to go queen here. Queen takes b4, sure, of course. There's a pawn, but again, I'm just thinking of habits. Going to try to stay centrally focused here. Okay, takes my bishop. I got to take back. Queen or knight. Honestly, I'm not even sure if it really matters. I suppose I would take with a knight. Yeah, d5 wasn't defended exactly, and then the knight was covering it. Queen there. Okay, if I take, you see, the bishop is hitting the queen. I assume after seeing a move like this, I might consider bringing the knight back. I'm just going to do it for now. Almost time for pre-moves? Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to pre-move, by the way. It just means you can pre-move. It just means you can. So, a bishop there. Let's maybe move our knight. Block. No, of course. I am going to lose these games, but I always like to throw these games in once in a while just to play with the chat and remind you guys that we can get out of the first 20 moves in pretty good shape no matter what. So obviously I know I'm going to lose this game on time because there's just not enough time to check with the chat on every move, because for you guys to vote on the move and me to wait and then read it and then do it, obviously we're going to lose a lot of time. But that's okay. That's okay. The idea is that hopefully most of us were able to pretty much guess the moves that we would play, up till like this point. There. If everyone sort of understood up till here, that's already a great thing. That's 14 moves. Obviously, if you played it in your games, you could do it. You could do it a lot faster. So I know I'm going to lose this game, of course, but once in a while, I do like to play the game alongside the chat and remind you guys that you're not just watching me do it. It's not that complicated. You can do it as well. So I'll play the next game. I'll play it myself, but you guys can still follow along. And I think that's one of the the best ways to watch the show at the moment is always be thinking in the back of your head, what would I do here, and see if it matches up with the move I'm going to. By the way, our opponent did play well, definitely. Our opponent did play very well. Okay, knight there. We're gonna go knight here. Because always when this knight takes the central squares, we're gonna match it. When that knight takes those central squares, we're gonna match it. e3, you probably should have brought the bishop out. What are we gonna do? Bishop c5. Just like the position with white. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, we want to maybe strengthen the center, also castle in general. Okay, our bishop's getting attacked. Now, we've talked about what do we do when the bishop gets attacked. Don't worry, don't stress. Just grab that bishop and put it back here every time. If it's a pawn, doesn't matter, knight, just bring it back. You might take it, that's okay, you'll take back. You'll take back with the pawn towards the center. Okay, he goes pawn up. I always think that at level 2, it's good to just strengthen that center. With this, before castling, it's always an option. Plus, I'm never going to play d5, so I know that I'm going to play d6. Okay, bishop g5. What do we do against this move? This should be automatic, just like you don't even have to think. Because every time you see that bishop move, you just play this. You close your eyes, and that's what you do. h6. Always h6. Immediately. Just don't even think. Don't even think. Bishop goes back. Hey, look, this Sir Knight 209, he's playing a good move, you see? He's keeping the pin. He's keeping the pin. I like to see that. That's actually great by him. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to get our bishop out. We're going to get our bishop out. Okay, he brings his bishop there. We can castle. At level 1 in habits, you sort of want to castle ASAP. As you move to level 2, you can play a few developing moves instead of castling. That's sort of your discretion. If you castled early in this game or later, it would have been good. It would have been a good move. Now, is bishop takes f6 good? Am I going to say, hey, Sir Knight 209, nice move. Nice move, bishop takes f6. No, I'm going to say, dude, that's a blunder. That's a terrible move. That's awful. I'm going to take, and look, I don't have this issue anymore. People love to take this knight and put this knight on d5. Like they think they just won the game or something. It's like, dude, that's not the case at all. Let me finish development. Okay, let's bring the rook to the middle. Okay, knight there. Technically, it's not forking this pawn, but I still think that queen here is the good habit to do after you see this knight move. Just go back, and then we can develop it here, bring the rook to the middle. Nice and easy. Okay, castles. Like I just said, we're going to bring the queen up and get the rook over, right? We're just finishing our development here. Okay, h3. What are we going to do with this one, guys? h3. What are we going to do with that? We're not going to take. We're going to go back. That's our habit. That's our habit. Knight back. Every time we see a trade, we take a trade, right? It's generally what we do. Not going to think twice about it. Not going to think twice about it. Take that trade. The queen takes back. And how are we going to finish development? Maybe there's lots of moves you might be tempted by. Just trust me. Finish development, and then we'll get to it. And then we'll get to it. Okay, now we're finished development. A knight into the middle of the board. Looks pretty good. This is an understandable move. Queen g3. Hey, what's our opponent planning? You know, I think our opponent is planning to do this. But you know what? Whether I see that or not, they're getting forked. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I see this or not, because I should see that fork. If you guys were here for an earlier habit stream, you should remember the one on Wednesday this week. You should remember that I said the most common square for there to be forks on is e2. Why e2? Because the king, when it castles, goes to g1. It castles kingside, 80% of the time, and it's on g1. So always be very familiar with that e2 square. You can fork so many things on that square. Knight takes queen, of course. Okay, and already, I mean, we're basically winning here, right? Let's get some random pawn moves over here. This is obviously a nice one because it kicks things out. And that's a free piece. Look at that. Chess is so easy. Chess is so easy. I'm not doing anything too fancy here, and look at that. A dub. Nice dub for the boys. Okay, well, all we did was take the piece there. You see how strong? Guys, how many games have we played where the difference has been how we handle these pins? I want to draw attention to that. Remember, I was saying that was such a great move by him. Bishop there, he's keeping the pressure. I can't develop my queen the way I want to, you know, according to the habits, because I would double my pawns. But look what just happened. I keep my pin. He messes up his by taking. He shouldn't take. And then, as a result, I win the game like not too long after. There was another game where the guy hung his queen because I kept the pin. So keeping that pin, keeping the tension is it's really going to win you some games, I promise you. See if you can guess the moves I'm going to play. Right? Knight attacks those two squares. The habit is pretty much it's the opposite knight in general. Okay, he goes there. What do we do against this move? Do we bring the knight out? No. If you've been watching habits long enough, you know that when we bring the knight out, this move is very annoying. People love to play the fried liver. So what do? We play the bishop first. And it tilts them off the planet. Because all they're trying to do is play knight g5 and get this quick win. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, when people play this, usually we get in trouble because we play knight f6, right? This is part of our habits. Get our pieces out. And if he had played d4 there, I would take it because we want to take trades. I would bring my bishop back, and then he would play e5, and my knight would be kind of screwed. So c3 and d4 really does put us in trouble in this series. But, you know, it happens. There's tricky openings. We take a tough game here. But in general, you know, we'll deal with this at the next level. If people are playing this sub 1,000, you know, tough luck, basically. Tough luck. Exactly. Drunken Spidey will play d6. He goes queen there. Again, we're not getting caught up like trying to take pawns in the middle of the board. None of that. All you want to do is get this nice fundamentals. Castle, right? Castle, castle. Of course. d4. Well, we know we're going to take no matter what. We always take captures, trades. And the thing is, after moving the queen, aren't we winning a pawn here? This looks like free for me. If you just count how many pieces we're attacking, 1, 2, 3, he's only got 2 defending. The queen moved out of the way, unfortunately. Okay, takes. And what's our opponent going to do? Castle as well. What should we do next? What should we do next, guys? Does anyone have a suggestion of what we should do with the black pieces? Follow some habits? I like your thought there, Danny. You're saying h6. h6 is a good idea, but first, before you play that h6 move, finish your development. Finish your development. h6 is not a bad move, but let's finish development first. People saying bishop e6. Well, think about it this way. The bishop can't go here, here, or here. And we never want to put it here. So bishop e6 I agree with. But as a habit, and instead of having this, we start with the rook, and then maybe next we play bishop e6. The reason bishop e6 is such a good move is because, okay, we can trade and we want to develop there. But why not start with the rook? Right? You know your rook wants to be here no matter what. And after bishop e6, you can now take back with your rook. Plus, we're threatening this pawn. Okay, so he defends it. Now I agree with you guys. Bishop e6. Bishop e6. And now we'll take it. Why not bishop here? It's just, that's where our queen wants to go, right? Our queen wants to go there. So in this position, could I play queen d7 if my bishop was there? No, that's just kind of annoying. I have space to put it here. The further advanced you put your pieces, the more space your other pieces have. We're going to go queen d7, right? That was our plan, right? Queen d7, we want to bring the rook over. Okay, our bishop's getting attacked. In general, when our bishop is attacked, where do we put this thing? Where do we put this thing? It's been a habit. Every time our bishop gets attacked, where do we throw it? Every single time. Every single time. And soon, exactly, b6. Soon this will be so obvious that you're doing it immediately. You might save a lot of time. You might save a lot of time. So I hope my opponent plays a certain move here. The certain move I hope he plays is this one. Because it would force me to do an explanation about the knight and how we don't want double pawns. He didn't do it. He went here. If he brought his bishop here, honestly, I might have played queen over. Just to cover the knight. Because you notice how the knight doesn't have anywhere to move to in that situation. So I might have brought the queen there. Okay, bishop there. What are we gonna do? We're not even gonna discuss anything. Trade. Just if that's a trade, take it. And next. And next. After we're done trading. H6. No, I respect your H6. But rook d8, technically, finish development with the rook. Rook d8. And next, we'll play h6. Don't worry, h6 is coming. I'm glad you guys are thinking about it. The fact you guys are suggesting h6 when, like you're suggesting it too early, let's say, I have no problem with that. And even if you guys did play h6, it would not be a blunder. Not even close. h6 instead of rook d8, no problem. No problem. Okay, but we're going to start with this. And now, he just went here. Do I care about that? No. h6. Now it's time for our h6. We're all on the same page. Yay, h6. Here we go. A strong move. A strong move. Yes, this pawn is hanging. Absolutely. But it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. However, after this pawn move, we have a random pawn move time. Random pawn move time. That's right, boys. Time for the rando pawns. a5. Yep. Well, one thing to keep in mind is, in general, random pawns, if they can be your central pawns, definitely want to consider it. So I would give consideration to d5, but that's one of the rules that I think is a little bit harder to remember. If everyone played a5 here, I think a5 is good. But d5, big consideration here, because if your random pawn move can be one of your center pawns, I think it makes sense. But a5, we're going to go with a5. A truly random pawn move. e5, we're not even going to think, we're going to capture. Remember, all captures, all captures. If he takes with the pawn, attacks our knight, where's our knight going to go? Knight's attacked. I want to choose central squares first. Central squares first. Right? So, if he takes it... Oh, doesn't take it. Wow, he saw that I was attacking that. That's impressive. So, he goes there. I'm like, okay, who's this guy? This guy's bad at chess. Take everything, right? Take, take, take. Start with taking. Okay, he takes back. More random pawn moves. More random pawn moves. I've got all my pieces in the center. Everyone developed. Okay, he goes here. We want to trade that. Generally, we're trying to avoid bishop for knight, so I'm going to take with the knight, right? I'm going to take with the knight. Okay, we've done our random pawn moves. Obviously, queen here looks like a very strong move, but if queen there, which is very reasonable, it's a central move, and it checks the king in trades, let's just say we don't do it. He wants to check us here. He wants to check us here. Let's say we play g6. Why avoid bishop for knight? I think it's just a good habit. Bishops often are a bit stronger than knights. You'll notice that in your games. Our random pawn moves are looking thick over here. Looking thick. Is a g4 free? Yep, but we're focused on other stuff. We're on the random pawn move vibe. Okay, I think we have like a queen d2 check. Now that I see this. Okay, so let's say we see this and we guard this pawn. Right? We have to protect it. Queen d2 obviously protects it, but we're not going to see every move. We're not going to see every move. Remember, we're playing reactive. When I see this move, I'll probably guard this. Queen there. Let's say we play this move now. Hey, it's a fork. Good move. Good move. It's a queen trade, so we're obviously going to take it. And then, of course, we're going to do our fork and take that. And again, I think you guys did a good job. We go back and have a look. Most of these games where I'm sort of talking with the chat, getting you guys to predict, I almost always lose them on time. It just happens. Kind of unfortunate. Doesn't really matter, though. You guys get the idea, I hope. But the whole game was just very clean. Like, these are the habits we're talking about. Bishop, knight, pawn, castle, take, rook e8, knight d2, bishop e6. This is exact rooks to the middle, developing our bishop, queen, and rook. Galactic Dungeon. All right, e4. We got the white pieces. We finessed our way out of the black pieces there. Knight f3. You guys know it. You guys know it. Knight out. We've done this before. Okay, this bishop is going to go here. Oh, I'm talking about the chess.com analysis. You can analyze your game on chess.com. Okay, we're all doing the same things. Again, like I mentioned, sometimes it's nice to just strengthen the center before castling. Okay, he goes h6, let's castle. He castles as well. We'll go rook e1 because we want to go bishop here. We could go bishop here and take with the double pawns, but we're going to try to. We're going to try to take with the rook as our habit. Obviously, the double pawns can be very good, but we're going to try to avoid it just for the moment. Okay, h3 and 8 bishop h5. A good move by him. A very good move. We're going to continue the habits. Queen d2. We want to bring this rook over next. If we get attacked, we're going to go back. You guys know that. We're going to take towards the center. Why is pushing the h-pawn good? Oh, knight there. And what if I take that? This has actually happened to us before on this exact stream. Knight d4 I take, he takes, and he's going to fork me. 30 guy. 30 guy. We don't know that double pawns are bad yet. And we definitely do. We definitely do. But, obviously, after this, if the goal is to not take, am I really going to take my knight and move it out of the way when I see a move like that? Not really. Not really. What's going to be our habits move? It's going to be getting the rook to the middle. It's going to be getting the rook to the middle. Yep, he takes. We're going to take back. c6. Okay, well, we've talked about basically if your random pawn move can be a center pawn, then it should be. Why not take with a rook? Because I'd lose material. Then his bishop would take it, and I would lose 5 points for 3 points. So we're going to play d4. We're going to play d4. If our... Basically, when it comes time to do a random pawn, if it can be your center pawn, check that one first. Just check that first. Because you're going to want to use your center pawn instead of like a random move like that almost all the time. But it's not always the case that I can play this move. Okay, wow. He goes d5. How are we going to react to that? Well, first things first, we are reactive, which means when we see d5, we're going to take it. Rook is 5 points. Yes. A quick Cinco. Okay, pawn takes, hits our bishop. Now, are we going to take this when they just took that and attacked our bishop? Of course not. It's pretty advanced. We're going to take our bishop that's being attacked and we're going to put it on the square that we always put it on. Every single time our bishop gets attacked, we bring it back to that square right there. So we're going to keep that habit. We are going to keep that habit. Okay, pawn takes pawn in the middle. I only have one move. I'm going to take it back. He's having a think here. But again, our position didn't start very well. But hopefully you can see that, you know, we might have missed some good moves here. Might have not played in the best way possible. But I think we still have a very good position. Bishop g6. What should we do? Moves in the center. Is this pawn loose? It looks like I could take it if you count up 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. But what? Where did that move come from? Hello? I didn't even touch the damn queen. Hey, give me that thing back. That's not that's not a habit. Hey, give me my queen back. Well, we're gonna take a pawn in the center, of course. No, don't write that down. No. Put the Peepo G away. That shit out. No. None of that. Don't write that down. Well, it seems that my follow-up, knight takes d5, really threw him off here. He's in the think tank. Okay, and all right, nice little tactic for the boys. I'm telling you guys, good habits. What can I say? And we won the game. So actually, that queen takes f6 was the quickest way to win the game. Write that down. Yeah, get your goddamn notebooks out. Write that down. Why don't you? Write that down. Telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know my own habits. Boom, write that down. Hey guys, just a reminder that building habits is going to be a regular series on our YouTube channel. So make sure to get subscribed if you are not already. Drop a comment down below for the algorithm and let me know what you thought about the video. See you next time.